So we've got a quick dictation practice on for today. We're going to do some listening, but the main thing is the skits. We're going to start with the skits. So I'm going to give you right now 5 minutes to work with your partner to do some rehearsal. And if you have any questions, Kirsten and I are here. You can go outside in the hall if you want to, just to kind of thin out the room a little bit if you want a little bit more privacy while you practice your skit. اتفضلوا. We'll listen to our classmates' skits, and after each skit, we have, in order to get done in the time that I've allotted for this, we have between 3 and 4 minutes for each skit. So I've budgeted some time in there to give feedback to the skit presenters afterwards. So your job as you're listening is to kind of think about things that you could suggest to the speakers when they're done. And we'll go alphabetically, and we'll start from the end of the alphabet. So we're going to start with Bobby and partner.
أهلا وسهلا. أهلا بيك، إزاي حضرتك؟ تمام الحمد لله، وأنت؟ كويس الحمد لله. أنت عايزك إيه؟ أنا عايز فراخ شاي. آسف، عندي شاي وما عندي فراخ. عندك عيش؟ في عيش. $5. شكرا. العفو. عن إذنك. تفضلوا، مع السلامة. على سلامك.
Anything else? So I heard you say Isaac A. Did you hear that? Isaac A.
Yes.
Is that right? عايزة ايه؟ انتي عايزة ايه؟ كيميا انتي عايزة ايه؟ كيتلين انتي عايزة ايه؟ أمينة انتي عايزة ايه؟ بابي انت عايز ايه؟ So the ek is on عندك. That you could do. Yeah, Bobby انت عندك ايه؟ Right? عندك ايه؟ بس عايز ايه؟ جميل. Okay. مع السلامة.
على سلامك.
بام.
الله يسلمك.
الله يسلمك. الله يسلمك. الله يسلمك. الله يسلمك. الله يسلمك. الله يسلمك. الله يسلمك. الله يسلمك. الله يسلمك. جميل. When you were trying to say kind of like you were sorry that you didn't have something that he had, there was a word that I just wanted you to say and you didn't say it. What was it? Would have been a perfect place for it. I wanted that. I was waiting for that. Yeah. Right. So you remember now?
Yes.
Say it again. جميل. معلش مش مشكلة. It is a مشكلة because he wanted it and she didn't. So معلش is more like I'm sorry. معلش, I'm sorry I don't have what you want. جميل. Okay. تمام. شكرا. ومين تاني؟ James and partner.
أهلا وسهلا.
أهلا بيك.
إزيك؟
تمام. وين ده؟
الحمد لله. أنتي عايزة حاجة اليوم؟
أنا عايزة فراخ.
ما عنديش فراخ اليوم. آسف.
ما عندي فراخ.
أيوة.
ما فيش مشكلة. أنا عايزة عيش.
عيش؟ لا، ما عنديش العيش اليوم.
ما عندك عيش. ما فيش مشكلة. أنا عايزة شاي.
ما فيش شاي اليوم.
مع السلامة.
الله يسلمك.
So James was using a new word? Did you pick up on it? He used it a couple of times? What word was he using? Did you hear he used a word that you didn't know? Did you? Something like that. Very good. Good listening. Did you figure out from context what it meant? You don't know. Okay. So, cardinal rule, we don't use language that the rest of the students do not understand unless we teach it first, right? So if you have like one word in a skit, I will allow that, but you need to teach your classmates the word before you give the skit. Okay? ماشي. شكرا.
Can you use them now?
He can. Well, but just say it again to have them guess. So you say the sentences that you said.
The sentence I said in reply to her was ما عنديش الفراغ اليوم.
And what else? ما عنديش.
ما عنديش الشيء اليوم.
ما عنديش.
مش العيش اليوم. ما فيش العيش اليوم.
ما فيش عيش اليوم.
Today.
Yeah, I mean, 'cause it's saying you don't have us.
Were you guessing?
Yeah, because I wasn't sure if it was aliyom or another word for that word. So, kind of a guess.
Kind of a guess, but not really. Remember, if you're not really guessing, let people who really are guessing guess. Okay. شكرا.
أهلا يا كيمياء اتفضلي.
أهلا صباح الخير
صباح النور.
ازيك انتي؟
كويس
الحمد لله
وانتي؟
كويسة الحمد لله
الحمد لله. انتي عايزة ايه؟
عايزة واحد شيء وواحد عيش من فضلك.
اتفضلي.
شكرا اتفضلي.
شكرا.
مع السلامة.
على اسمك.
أهلا يا كريس.
أهلا يا نيكي، ازيك؟
كويسة الحمد لله وانت؟
كويس الحمد لله.
الحمد لله. يا كيمياء جاء الجديد كريس.
اهلا.
كيمياء صاحبتي.
ايوه.
عن اذنك عندي فصل.
مع السلامة. على اسمك. يا كريس انت عايز ايه؟
أنا عايزة 8 فراخ.
اتفضل.
شكرا. مع السلامة.
على اسمك.
ازيك يا كيمياء؟
كويس.
لا انت مش ايوه كويسة صح كده ماشي. In the very end, so you gave it to him and you gave her the money and you didn't say anything, but what could you have said?
تفضل.
بالضبط. اتفضلي. صح. اتفضلي. Another use of اتفضل, when you hand something to someone. جميل. شكرا. Anything else? Nice job. Good use of vocabulary.
اهلا وسهلا. اتفضل. طب من فضلك.
اهلا بيك.
ازيك؟
تمام الحمد لله. وانت ازيك؟
كويس الحمد لله.
عندي سؤال.
اسف ما عنديش فراغ جديد. انت عايز حاجة تاني.
عندك عيش في شيء؟
عندي بس عيش أبيض وشاي أخضر.
من فضلك عايز عيش في شيء.
ماشي.
شكرا.
لا حبيبي.
عندي فصل.
اوكي ماشي.
اوكي.
ماشي. اتفضل. مع السلامة. سي.
أهلا وسهلا يا نسي.
أهلا بيكي يا فرحانة. تفضلي.
شكرا.
العفو.
أخبارك إيه؟
تمام الحمد لله. ازيك؟
الحمد لله.
انتي عايزة ايه؟
أنا عايزة أعيش من فضلك.
آسف ما في عيش.
مش مشكلة. أنا عايزة 3 فراخ من فضلك.
آسف بس في 2 فراخ.
ماشي تمام.
عن إذنك.
أيوة.
تفضلي. دي 2 فراخ.
شكرا.
$8.
اتفضل. مع السلامة يا نسيم.
الله يسلمك.
Can you say sorry to, like, if a male is saying the female, it'll be asfa? Asif is fine?
Okay, so there's 2 versions. There's the male, which is good. You didn't say it that way in the skit, but that's correct. Say it again.
Asif.
Asif.
Asfa.
And asfa, right? So asif and asfa. Asif, not, I heard asif before, right? So there's no ya in it. It's asif. 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 So long a, short e. Asif. Asif, and then the female asfa. And is it dependent on the speaker's gender or the addressee's gender?
Gender.
The speaker's gender. And why is that?
Because you're taking, you're sorry. You're taking possession of being sorry.
You're saying I am, so the sorry is modifying you, the speaker, right? ماشي تمام. You may not have noticed it, and I have because I've been listening very carefully to Farhana, but Farhana has a very unique pronunciation problem that none of you have, and it has to do with what her native language is. Did anybody pick up on it? Or from working with Farhana?
I told all.
You did? You've told them all? Okay, so not all, but some, the kha comes out as ka. So akbarik e instead of akhbarik e. And I'm putting all of you on notice because all of you need to help her with this. When you are working with her, hold her responsible for saying that kha. Okay? Akhbarik. Akh. Very nice.
أهلا وسهلا.
صباح الخير.
ازاي حضرتك؟
أنا تعبانة أوي وحضرتك؟
كويس.
الحمد لله. أنا عايزة 4 فراخ. 1 فراخ أبيض، 1 فراخ أسود، و2 فراخ أخضر من فضلك.
آسف ما عنديش فراخ أخضر.
مش مشكلة. أنا فراخ 3 فراخ أسود من فضلك.
ماشي.
شكرا. أنا عايزة حاجة تاني. أنا عايزة 2 عيش من فضلك.
آسف ما عنديش 2 عيش. عندي 1 عيش.
أيوة. أنا عايزة 1 عيش.
انتي عايزة حاجة تاني؟
أيوة. أنا عايزة شيء أخضر من فضلك.
ماشي ما فيش مشكلة.
شكرا. مع السلامة.
الله يسلمك.
It's a very nice store owner. He didn't take any money.
وعليكم السلام.
أهلا وسهلا يا فاطمة.
أهلا بك يا حبيبي.
أخبارك إيه؟
ماشي الحمد لله. وأنت أخبارك إيه؟
تمام. الحمد لله شكرا.
طيب. عندك فراخ؟
أيوة عندي فراخ جديدة.
ممتاز. عندك عيش؟
لا ما فيش عيش.
قالي هي عايزة عيش. معلش.
آسف. أوه عايزة شاي وحشيش.
أيوة. أنا عايزة شاي وحشيش.
تفضلي.
Hello? Let me hear you say it.
Hello? أهلا وسهلا.
Again?
أهلا وسهلا.
Okay, make sure you get that he in there.
Oh,
Ahlan wa sahlan.
not the emphatic.
It is, but it's not the emphatic, it's not the fringe one, but it still makes a lot of sound. Like ahlan wa sahlan. Ahlan wa sahlan. Ahlan wa sahlan. Ahlan wa sahlan. Actually, we're going to see a video today, Imran, and you'll really get to see a nice example of this. So that H, even though it's a lighter, it's not, it still has a lot of sound to it, right? Ahlan wa sahlan.
صباح الخير.
صباح النور.
أخبارك إيه؟
الحمد لله. شكرا.
العفو. أنتي عايزة فراغ؟
لا حاجة تاني.
أنتي عايزة عيش؟
لا أنا عايزة كافيه.
أنتي عايزة كافيه أسود؟
من فضلك. الحمد لله. شكرا.
في شيء؟ آسف معلش.
مش مشكلة. شكرا.
الشكر لا شكر على واجب.
مع السلامة.
الله يسلمك.
Shukran. Shukran. Let's do a dictation practice. And then we're going to do some listening practice. Let's do a dictation practice just like yesterday. Take out a piece of paper. So we have one word, one two-word phrase, and then a number. And I'm going to do it exactly the way I'm going to do it tomorrow for the quiz so that we get used to the speed and the amount of time that you have for that, okay? So I'm going to say each one of the words or the phrases 4 times and the number 3 times.
Only going to be these.
No, the quiz is made up of a listening comprehension. You just circle the word you hear, dictation, connecting letters, and then there's a section where you'll have a picture prompt and you have to identify what that thing is in Arabic, and then you have to write a sentence using that thing in a sentence. Yalla, first word. أحداث. أحداث. دجاج جاري. So this is and finally the number. So again, I'm going to repeat it 3 times. Each time I'm going to read it at kind of normal speed. And you should write using regular numbers, right? From left to right, just the way you normally would write a telephone number. 2 1 2 7 5 6 2 4 3 9. The vowels, أحداث. Did we all get that?
Yeah.
أحداث. أحداث. Good. دجاج. What was the second one? دجاج جاري. Did we get that? Yes. ماشي. The number, tell me. Quickly. Afwan. Maybe just one person at a time. James. 2 1 2. 2 1 2.
2 1 2 7 5 6 2 4 3 9.
صح كده؟ صح؟
صح
صح؟ ماشي كويس. Good. Questions? So Amina, at one point I noticed you doing something very good strategy. You kind of looked up at me quizzically right before I said the word again and watched me as I said it. It's a very good strategy, right, on dictation. A lot of times your eyes will be able to understand something that's being said, and it really helps your ears to look, right? Yeah. So first listening, what are we doing? Listening for words you know. Setting the scene, so getting kind of the gist of what's going on. And what do we want to focus on not doing in the first listening?
Focusing on what you don't know.
Exactly, and getting hung up and stopping to listen when you hear something that you don't know. You know, if you can, kind of mental note for the second listening, I want to listen to that again, but just keep listening, right? That's probably the most important thing that we tend to not do when we listen to a second language, right? We get carried away. So we're looking for that big picture. We're trying to establish the forest in which we are operating.
صباح الخير.
صباح النور، أهلا وسهلا.
من فضلك عايزة كارت تليفون ب10 جنيه.
حاضر. آسف مفيش، في ب50 جنيه بس.
طيب ماشي.
تفضلي، حاجة تاني؟
شكرا.
أهلا وسهلا. العفو.
تفضلوا. With a partner? What's going on? What's going on in this scene?
She's asking for telephone.
Bobby? She's asking for a telephone card. She wants to buy a telephone card, right? Good. What else? Does she buy a telephone card?
Yes.
Does she buy the one that she wanted? So, did you understand? There was actually a question here. They weren't quite sure why it was that he said mafish something, but then she ended up buying it. We kind of talked it through, and they came up with a hypothesis, which is
That she asked for a phone card with like a certain amount on it, and they didn't have that amount. So.
Is that what you understood? Yes. Kind of. Okay. So, did you understand what the amounts were that were involved, like what she wanted and what she ended up with?
10 50.
Did anybody? So maybe for most of us, that's something we want to be listening to and not telling everybody and giving it away. Okay, anything else? Any other pieces of language that you wanted to listen to again?
Like this اتفضل, when she said it, it didn't seem like the other meanings we've had for اتفضل. She was like, hello, you know, how are you doing? She's like, please, let's do this.
Yeah, she did it at the end.
She was like, he was like, ahlan wa sahlan. She's like, اتفضل, and then just went into business.
Yeah.
And that didn't seem reasonable, right? Do we know another word that sounds a little bit like that she could have been using here instead?
That's what I heard.
What do you think? Would that make sense? And so what was she saying?
Please?
There you go. She's saying please. Uh-huh.
He was like Hagatani, and she was just like
Yeah.
Shukran, and she just
Yeah,
went left.
she's-
It was like
Yes, I
anything
get
else?
that.
Thank you. She just leaves. It was weird.
And so why was that weird? Okay, because she didn't say
Oh yeah, she didn't say like Shukran.
she didn't say the no part, which we would say in English. So it is.
They did it. It's normal.
So this whole time I was thinking she was.
So how do you say no thanks? How do you think no thanks in Arabic? Shukran. I say shukran.
Yeah, but you would have to shake your head.
A little bit.
That'd be weird.
Yeah, a little bit. Shukran. Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Does the Arab culture have the Indian handshake?
No, not that.
No. Okay. Anything else? Amina has a question. Amina? Yes.
I was taught that when you say la, you go like this. Yeah, they do like la. Okay.
Only in
La.
Saudi Arabia.
Only in Saudi? Okay. Is that clear? If you don't have it, like, I don't have it.
We should.
La. Now they don't do that in Egypt, but they do it in Saudi
They
Arabia.
do that in Iran too.
In Iran too?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
So if you say no, it's
And then what other questions can we ask of our second listening? So we know that she asks for a card for a certain amount of money, right? So maybe how does she say that for a certain amount of money? And then he says, no, I don't have that, but I have a card for, right? So we should hear it twice. Let's listen for that tune this time.
صباح الخير.
صباح النور، أهلا وسهلا.
من فضلك عايزة كارت تليفون ب10 جنيه.
حاضر. آسف مفيش في ب50 جنيه بس.
طيب ماشي.
اتفضلي حاجة تاني؟
شكرا.
أهلا وسهلا. العفو.
جميل. What was it? What did you hear? Nice. Say it again.
حاضر.
Very nice. Perfect intonation. Yalla, do it again.
حاضر.
Yeah. Together. Hadir. Hadir. And it's always said with that intonation, actually. Hadir. And Nikki, don't you say what it means, because I know you know, right? You must know this, right? Because people say it all the time. Yeah, it's so you can't be in Egypt for more than 24 hours without learning this word. So from the context, what is he saying?
Hold on, ma'am. Just have it. It's here. حاضر.
It's like
As you please, as you wish.
Kind of, as you wish, right? So, but it's just one word. So instead of thinking about what that particular word means, let's just think about how is it functioning? What is he doing with that word? She's making a request, and he is indicating willingness to do what he's been asked to do. Hadir. And sometimes people go like this. Hadir. Like to sort of imitate like you're in the army. And they say, Hadir ya captain. Hadir ya captain. All the time. Hadir ya captain. Huh? Hadir ya captain. Hadir ya Ustaza Martha. Hadir ya Ustaza Martha. Or Hadir ya Doktora Martha. Hadir ya Doktora Martha. Hadir. Hadir. Jamil. So anytime you are saying yes, you do. So in your restaurant, you say, لو سمحت من فضلك أنا عايزة شيء. And the garçon would say to you,
حاضر.
حاضر. حاضر. What else? How do you say for a certain amount of money? Did you? I think we need a muzzle for James.
I didn't know. I just.
You really didn't?
No.
Honestly?
Honestly.
Sorry. Okay. Okay, so what is it? Did you all pick up on it? How do you say? B. Uh-huh. So she wants a carte telephone. B. How many guinea? ب10 جنيه. ب10 جنيه. ها؟ ب10 جنيه. ب10 جنيه. Yes? ب10 جنيه.
B as in like the and the E, the long E, or just short?
B.
B.
B. And the kasra. Have we seen this B before? Have we seen this B before?
No.
أهلا وسهلا.
B.
أهلا. تشرفنا. That's that same B preposition. How many prepositions do we know so far? Little words. B, fi, wa, kind of a preposition. Little word. Yeah, little word, little grammar word, not exactly a preposition. Min. An, very nice. In an iznik, An iznik, An iznik. And the one that Jonathan just used in his skit, La shukr. Ala wajib. And also, Assalamu. It's the same, that same ala. Good. Itani. Anything else? Do we have any other questions that we were asking this time?
What does the B mean again? Just like, I guess for like another word.
Okay, so it's the word that you use in Arabic when you talk about how much something costs. So, بخمسة جنيه, guinea, you know guinea? Guinea, it's guinea. It's the, well I know you know it, Nikki, because you lived in Egypt. Yeah, so it's the word that you use. A word about prepositions, they don't translate well from one language to another at all. So it's good actually not to think of a preposition, not to sort of match it up one-on-one with a preposition you have, but sort of learn, okay, when I'm talking about this is the preposition I use, right? So, بخمسة جنيه, and she says, no thanks, I want one ب50 جنيه. Yalla, let's listen one more time and just stop and we'll do a little bit of very close listening.
صباح الخير.
صباح النور.
You hear that ha? صباح النور.
أهلا وسهلا.
عمران. أهلا وسهلا. وسهلا. أها.
من فضلك عايزة كارت تليفون ب10 جنيه.
من فضلك عايزة كارت تليفون ب10 جنيه.
حاضر. آسف مفيش.
آسف مفيش.
في ب50 جنيه بس.
ب50 جنيه بس.
في
ب50
جنيه بس. يا في ب50 جنيه بس.
طيب ماشي.
طيب ماشي.
She's okay, I'll take that.
تفضلي حاجة
غدالي حاجة تاني. شكرا.
أهلا وسهلا.
أهلا وسهلا. أهلا وسهلا. أهلا وسهلا. You said أهلا وسهلا when you took the money. Yeah, it is fine. أهلا وسهلا. You're welcome anytime, especially if you bring me money. أهلا وسهلا. تفضل.
After he says أهلا وسهلا, it's like rough.
Excuse me?
Rough?
Oh yeah, what does she say? Good, okay, very quickly. What does she say?
I didn't know that.
Oh, I didn't hear her say.
Rough.
He says laugh.
He says laugh.
أهلا وسهلا.
Laugh.
حاجة تاني؟
شكرا.
أهلا وسهلا. تفضلي حاجة تاني؟
شكرا.
أهلا وسهلا.
What does he say? أهلا وسهلا? What does that sound like?
Thanks for coming.
What does it sound like? Another word that we know? Another word that we know? Afwan. Exactly.
I was wondering why we always still use afwan.
العفو. So another version of afwan, العفو. العفو. جميل. We have 3 minutes, which I think is enough time to just do the last activity. Really quickly, I just want to summarize all the different meanings that we know of اتفضل. So you watched a video yesterday with a number of different. So with a partner, take a minute to run through them, and then we'll do kind of a group share and see if we're all on the same page in terms of how you can use اتفضل. We have Nasser and Amina have determined that you can use اتفضل for everything. Not quite, but for a lot of things. So what are some of the functions that we've seen for اتفضل? Take this. So when you're handing someone something, so I say when I give you the homework, اتفضلي, اتفضلي, اتفضل. And we saw in the video,
The tea.
serving somebody something too. You know, so in a restaurant, what would the waiter say when he brings you the food? اتفضل or اتفضلي, or اتفضلوا. What else?
To follow.
Cheers, اتفضل, like drink, or I don't know. They clean glasses and said اتفضل.
They did? I don't remember
You
that.
don't see that? I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure.
ممكن تشوفي 20 أنا ما كنتش عايشة وإحنا بنتكلم ممكن ونشوفها بسرعة كده. What else? We'll come back to that.
Follow. Like there was that religious leader and he said it's Fadalu and then everybody followed him down the stairs. Or come with me, follow me.
So come on, let's go. Okay? Yeah. Okay. اتفضلوا.
And can it mean excuse me or something? Because when I had there were like the 3 girls and they were talking and she said it's Fadal and then it's Fadalu and then she left, but it was like right before she said she had class.
Okay. So does it mean excuse me or does it? It's a.
It's like
It's accompaniment to the.
It's a response to excuse me, right? It's a response. So we saw that also. She was trying to get through, right?
Yeah.
And she said, عن إذنك, like excuse me, and he said, moved, and اتفضل. So yeah, good. Somebody comes to the door.
Come on in.
You can either say it even before you open the door, just اتفضل, like come on in, or once you've opened the door, اتفضل as in, yeah, come on in. اتفضلوا, sit down. Good. Anything else? Oh, a lot of things, but not everything.
I think your hands determine it too. Like if you just say like to the
Right.
chair,
And so the grammar of this, we're clear on this, right? For a guy, اتفضلي and اتفضلوا.